Hello everyone, welcome to my presentation. Today I'm going to talk about digital addiction and cognitive functioning. Let's look at our content here. What is digital addiction? How it affects the brain, attention span, uh, I wrote this wrong, working memory, multitasking myths, effects on academic performance, solutions and recommendations, and finally conclusion part. So, firstly, what is digital addiction? Firstly, I want to talk about digital technology because today digital technology is not just something we use occasionally, it's everywhere. It has become a part of who we are. Because from the moment we wake up to the moment we fall asleep, like we're constantly surrounded by screens, notifications, and informations. And while this brings many advantages, it also comes with hidden costs. One of the most important of these is digital addiction, as you see. Uh, and this doesn't just affect our habits, but it actually changes how our brain works, especially our attention, memory, and learning. And what is digital addiction? Digital addiction is actually like, it's not don't use your phone too much. It's it's the loss of control over digital use. Every notification, every message, every new post, they triggers the release of dopamine in the brain. And this makes us feel good and encourages us to come back. So this over time, this creates a cycle where we check our phones without noticing, without thinking. We lose track of time and feel uncomfortable when we're offline, when we're not looking at our phone, looking at the screen. Also, I want to mention how it affects the brain. Digital addiction does not only affect behavior, it changes cognitive functioning. The brain becomes used to constant stimulation and frequent interruptions, frequent distractions. And instead of deep thinking, critical thinking, our brain adapts to, quick and shallow processing. As a result, it becomes harder to focus, harder to think deeply, and also harder to learn effectively. And we have attention span. You see the pictures. Attention span is our ability to focus on something without getting distracted, actually. But digital environments are actually designed to distract us, interrupt us. Because as you see, notifications, short videos, endless scrolling, they train our brain. They train our brain to expect constant stimulation. So when we try to study, when we try to read something, uh, we often get bored because our brain struggles to stay focused. And we have working memory here. What is working memory? Working memory is what allows us to hold and process information in our mind. You see input, working memory, output. But these distractions are interpreting the process. So it is essential for learning. It is the key of learning. But when we multitask, and what I mean by multitask is that, for example, we're studying, but we're also checking our phone. We overload the system, you know, and the brain cannot process everything effectively. So we understand less and we forget more. And we have some multitasking myths. Yes, multitasking is a myth, and I'm going to explain you. Many people believe multitasking is a, useful skill or even impressive, something impressive. But in reality, it's a myth. Why? Because our brain cannot do multiple tasks at the same time. It can just switch between them very quickly. And also, every switch costs something. For example, costs your time, your energy, your accuracy. So even though we feel productive, most people feel like they are looking busy, they're so busy, and just because they're busy, they're productive. But our performance actually decreases. when we multitask. Effects on academic performance. So all of these effects directly, of course, impacts academic success. How? For example, students who use their phones while studying have lower concentration, have lower understanding, or often lower grades, you know. In addition, using devices late at night disrupts sleep. So, um, how? Like, we are students. I'm gonna mention this two topic, one sleep and one about the distractions. Like for example, you studied for 30 minutes, okay, and you decide to take a break. If in this break you look at your phone, your brain will stop the learning process and restart it, reset it, you know. And this is so dangerous, and this will explain. This will affect. Sorry, this will affect your performance, your learning process. Also about sleep, like it's still affects us, but just think about students who are younger than us. We're 18 and 19 and we're more consciousness right now. But think about uh, younger students, like when they go to bed with their phones and when they look at their phones before sleeping, it affects their hormones, their sleeping schedule, their health, their ability to focus. So it's pretty much a bad thing, you know. Uh, Also, I read somewhere, uh, I don't know how I mentioned a few seconds ago, but you know, if you study for 30 minutes and when you check your phone, it affects your learning process, it resets it. And also, what we said, sleep is essential for memory and learning and focus. Sleep is everything here. Sleep is so important. So let's look at some deeper insights. Not all digital use is the same. For example, we have, passive use and active use. What is passive use? Passive use is like when you mindlessly scroll through Instagram or, social media, your apps, like that, without thinking. You're just scrolling and wasting time on social media or your phone on screen. But active use is what I do right now. Like if you are creating something, if you are being useful and learning something from the screen, from the digital tools, then you are actively using it. And what I mean by that is not, uh, you know, TikTok videos. Don't create them. Create some, creating some educational and effective uh, things in the internet. It's active use, and mindlessly scrolling, mindlessly consuming is passive use. Also, digital environments can create an illusion of productivity. How? For example, think about a child who is watching an educational video about math, for example. He may feel like he is being productive, but actually, they're not learning deeply. They may feel busy, but they're not actually learning deeply. At the same time, if we look at the emotional effects, constant stimulation increases stress, and anxiety. This is so important. So we talked about bad things for all this time. Let's look at some solutions and some recommendations. Okay, the good news is we can take our control back. Simple strategies can really make a big, difference. For example, studying in focused time blocks. Pomodoro really worked for me. For example, I was studying for 30 minutes and I was giving 5 minutes breaks or 25 minutes, 5 minutes breaks. This is effective, but in those breaks, don't check your phone. It's harmful for your learning process. Just walk around the house, walk around the library if you are just take a break. Open the window, take deep breaths, drink some water, you know, do these things, but don't check your phone. And turn off your notifications while you're studying because notifications are the biggest distractions because it attracts your attention so quickly. And keep your phone out of reach. Like what I recommend is not just turn off your notifications, but just take your phone and throw away another room, because we saw this in environmental structuring. Phone is the biggest distraction for a student. So if you have a desk, uh, you know, don't let your phone exist on that desk because it really interrupts your learning process. And I must say, our goal is not to avoid a technology or something. In fact, we can't. Like in this age, it's impossible. But we need to use it intentionally. We need to learn how to use it intentionally and effectively. So if we look at the conclusion part, digital addiction is not just a habit, it is something that shapes how we think. It affects our attention, our memory, and our ability to learn. So, our real question is not just how much do we use technology? Our question is not this, but rather, our question is, are we in control of it or is it controlling us? We must think about this. Thank you so much for listening to me. I hope you enjoyed my presentation. See you in the next videos. Bye.